Hey, this is Russ. Hey, I just wanted to let you guys know I attended an e-bike seminar last night. Yeah, it was held at one of the local libraries, and I had never been to one of these before, so I wanted to see what the guy had to say. But more importantly, I wanted to see what type of people showed up to it. Now, admittedly, many of these library type seminars that I've attended in the past from different libraries, not just this particular one, most of them are usually older people. Let's put it that way. Okay, so I wanted to see, what kind of people were interested in e-bikes, and I will have to say that most of them seem to be over 65. Yeah, I would be in the group just slightly below that. I am actually 63 years old, in case you didn't know that. Although people have said you don't look 63, but yes, I am 63 as of this recording. And I would say there was maybe only 3, maybe 4 people at most that were there that were under that age. Okay. But I would say maybe still over 40. Okay. So it goes to show you that most of the people who are interested in e-bikes seems to be the older generation. I'm surprised that some of these e-bike companies don't really market heavier to that demographic, because that was pretty much what we saw at this seminar. So how was the seminar? Well, let me put it this way. The presenter couldn't go through too many things that would be too technical, because I think he'd lose his audience if he did that. Just the questions that we heard in the evening, they were very basic questions about bikes and e-bikes in general, but nothing very specific. So I asked a couple of questions. I asked him whether his shop does conversions of brake systems so that they can convert mechanical brakes into a hydraulic system. He wasn't too fond of the idea of doing it. He says he's never had to do one before, so that tells me right off the bat I wouldn't bring it to him to do it. But I don't think he was really in favor of doing it. He said that the hydraulic systems, you have to bleed the line every now and then, and that's kind of difficult. Yeah, I already know that. My question really was, can you do it? And he's not going to be able to do that. He also mentioned too that he doesn't do any battery repairs. All right, and that doesn't surprise me at all, because nobody wants to mess with the batteries. I got to do a battery repair. He mentioned the potentials of fire and things like that. He says he doesn't want to deal with something that might blow up on him. He's kind of correct in that sense. But I think the one takeaway I got from his comments was that the companies that you can buy from, you have to make sure that they're going to be in business long enough, because if they go out of business, you may have a difficulty in getting parts. He made that very clear. Now, in that sense, I'm glad I got the bike that I got, all right, the radrover 5. Because the way that thing's set up, I can modify it any way I want. I can change the controller, I can change the battery, I can swap out the hub motor, I can do all that stuff myself if I wanted to do it. I can't really say that for some of the bikes that have integrated batteries and things like that. That might make it difficult. So he had one bike that he showed at the event. I'll put a photo of it up here. I just took a quick shot of the bike. And I looked up the brand because I wasn't familiar with the brand, and apparently it's a brand from Canada. So I asked them too what type of bikes he sold, and I didn't recognize any of the brands. Now, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. He mentioned there was about 300 different brands of e-bikes now available, and that it's hard for people sometimes to make a decision which particular brand to go with. But he did say you want to make sure that you go with something that you know will be hanging around longer. But the thing is, I'd never heard of any of the brands that he mentioned that his bike shop sells. So made me really wonder. Because if you watch any of the YouTube videos, you'll see that a lot of the bike reviewers and guys on YouTube like I am, we don't seem to mention the brands that he mentioned. So it kind of made me feel like maybe certain brands are sold specifically at bike shops. And then, of course, the ones that we talk about a lot here on YouTube are brands that maybe are sold directly from the manufacturer, or at least the distributor, whoever happens to be bringing those bikes in. He did mention, too, though, that most of the bikes are coming from China or somewhere in Asia. And I already knew that. So he said that, if somebody asked if there was bikes specifically from the United States, and he says, well, some of them may be assembling some parts in the United States, but he says, but that's the extent of really what you're going to find. You're not going to find bikes specifically made here in the United States. They're usually coming from Asia somewhere. So those were the takeaways that I got out of it. His shop, I guess, along with one other shop, are in the local area, and the owner of the other shop was also sitting in the seminar too. So I had to wonder if anyone would actually recognize me if they watched Russ's ride, or if they, are people who are interested in e-bikes that might look at YouTube channels. But no, nobody recognized me, which is good. That was a good thing. I was incognito. I had my mask on and everything. So anyways, that's the report. I just wanted to say that, there are seminars out there that you can attend. A lot of times it's usually local libraries that will host that type of thing. So anyways, go and check those things out if you want. But quite frankly, based on the people who were there and what he had to say for that particular group of people, I think you'll learn a lot more maybe on YouTube. Yeah, if you're a little bit more advanced, or maybe you've read or heard of certain things before, then I think you're going to learn more on the YouTube things than you might on that type of seminar. Not to say that he's not able to talk about more advanced stuff, but based on his his audience at the time, had he gone any further or deeper than what he actually presented, probably would have lost the audience. So. But the people seemed interested. They hung out afterwards, probably to talk to him a little bit more. He brought one bike. They seemed to be surprised at how heavy the bikes were when he was mentioning the weight. And somebody mentioned, is there anything that's lighter in weight? And he said, well, there are a couple that are lighter. But I think usually when you have a lighter weight bike, it's probably because your batteries are lighter, or you might not have something that's built as a big frame. So he did mention that most of the e-bikes are fairly heavy bikes. Yeah, that's true. I would say 50 pounds and over at least. So my bike rates out at 69 pounds. And you might know that I just recently picked up a bike for my wife. We're waiting for that still to be delivered. Hers is a Rad Mini step through. So it's a smaller looking bike, but it's still 69 pounds. So it weighs as much as my bike, even though physically it may look a little smaller in stature, but these are all heavy bikes. So let me address something too, in case you are new to e-biking, or you're one of the seniors looking at this YouTube video, looking at information. Somebody mentioned recently on one of my comments, asking me about standing with your feet flat on the ground with your butt on the chair, on the seat, right? And I told her that, you don't really want to do that, because that means you don't have no extension at all when you're actually pedaling. And then she mentioned something about starting out with pedal assist level 0, meaning no assist as you're learning. And I had to say that you probably don't want to do that. You probably want to be at least on assist level 1, because on 0 means you have no assist. You're trying to pedal a bike that's 69 pounds or heavier, right? That's going to be hard. If you're used to a basic non-electric bike that you've ridden years ago, those bikes are probably in the 30-pound ranges, 30, 35-pound ranges maybe. You're talking a bike here that's going to be 2 to 3 times as heavy, depending on what you have on the bike. So, without some type of assist, it's going to be very difficult to ride that bike. And especially if just the first time you're on that bike, if you left it at 0 and tried to pedal off with it, I think you'd be very surprised at how difficult that's going to be. So my suggestion was start out at least level 1 assist. That'll give you a little bit of movement. It won't feel as like you're really moving a heavy object, okay? And then as you get better, you'll move up to level 2 and level 3 and 4 and 5 if you wanted to. I usually hang out at level 3. Sometimes I hang out at level 2, okay? And then when I need a little bit of boost, you guys know that I usually throttle and pedal at the same time. Okay, now you could not do the throttle. You could just move it to level 4, level 5, and then drop it back down to level 3. So you're jumping back and forth. I find it easier for myself is for a quick boost, I hit the throttle while I'm still pedaling, and then I back off on the throttle. So, but the way that I do it usually eats up more battery that way. And if you're trying to conserve your battery, then your best bet is to use your pedal assist levels. So anyway, just wanted to bring that up. So yeah, that's my experience so far with the seminar, and I'm glad I went. I just wanted to see what people present and the type of people that showed up. Anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. More videos about e-bikes coming. They're typically on Monday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Okay? Talk to you guys next time.